Manor Lords, one of the most highly requested and wishlisted Steam game this year, finally got released last week. It is a medieval strategy game featuring on in-depth city building, large-scale battles, and complex economic and social simulations. You rule as a medieval lord over your little fiefdom. You seek to expand, stabilize your little hamlets, fight off raiders and other computers. You do a whole bunch of stuff. And with it being so highly anticipated, is Manor Lords worth the hype? After playing for a little over 20 hours, I would for the most part say yes, it is worth the hype, especially at the price point. The mostly part is really because this game is still in early access, and so there's still a fair amount of content that needs to be added or reworked before I think the game is finally at its true potential. It still has a long way to go. There's two things that make this game shine a whole lot. First is the city building and the natural landscape that sits to it, right? When you are building a house or a market or some of the other buildings like that, you're able to craft these winding roads that just lazily move through a village, and then the houses can get plotted next to it. And so instead of it being this grid-like format that we see with so many games, you see what is like truly like a natural development of a town, and it feels less sterile and more truly what you would expect to see. And I think the visual aesthetic and that complementary customization of the houses really goes hand in hand very nicely. The moving through the seasons, the day and night cycles are also great. You really feel like you're seeing what a medieval town would look and operate like in that time frame. This game is kind of like the city builder Banished, but if it had more small-scale warfare like Medieval War did in Medieval Total War. And so I love the blending of the two elements, and I love that because it is so down into the details, when you are mustering your troops to go off to battle, it's not just random men that just spawn out of nowhere. These are men that are coming from the actual village themselves to field your armies. And knowing that there is that lineage there is super cool, and something that I really enjoy about the game, showing the level of detail that's really meant to go into this. And there's just also many other positives to this game. There's different play styles. I look forward to seeing what different maps there are going to be. But there is something about the game right now that currently makes it feel like it's lacking. Something that I expect they will address as more versions come out, and hopefully before it moves out into full release. But I think it's important to address them right now, so you as someone who's basically investing in this game by buying it in early access, you know what you're getting in for. Now, when I originally wrote this review, I had a number of different negatives as to what I felt could be improved, what I felt like could be tweaked, and I'll touch on some of them, but then when I was reflecting on all the negatives that I had, I decided to bring it up one level, and it really boils down to, as it currently stands right now, the gameplay is just relatively linear. Whether we talk about the different starting conditions or the resources at your disposal, the warfare, the trading, all of it has this very one-path feel to it. There's no multiple different ways to grow a town. There's not different resources starting in your region versus other regions. It's all the same region by region, by gameplay. And so one of your save games is going to eventually feel like the exact other saved game. And so what I would love to see is for the developer, since it's just one person, to move away from kind of this very linear cookie cutter, at least starting out gameplay style. Eventually all city builders kind of follow into one silo, right? But at the beginning, I would love to see more variableness, more randomness to the game. Maybe you don't get all the resources in a certain spot. Maybe you get, maybe there's a bandit camps nearby. I don't know what it looks like, but I think right now, with the one-track mindedness of the gameplay, that's where you see a lot of people writing reviews where after about 30 hours, the game feels a little stale. And I think if the developer wants to make sure that he's bringing people back to really go beyond that 30 hours into fruitful 40, 50, 100,000 hour gameplays, they need to make sure that there's a level of variability, a level of randomness to the gameplay style. That's what's going to keep people interested in this game. So overall, for the $30 price point, I think it is worth the hype. I definitely think you should go check it out, especially support a indie developer who definitely put a lot of work into this. It's crazy to see how visually appealing this game is when it's created by one person. So definitely go check it out. You're going to have a good time for the first 30 hours or so. So definitely go look at it. And as you guys always know, this is Last Rohican, and take it easy.